What's the deal? I'm Dale Cooper. Welcome to a special episode of the podcast. I know it's been a while, but we're back. And I got my co-host, Mrs. Come on, she don't even remember her name.
Liani Luisa Pérez here at your service.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yes. And we have a very special guest, Mrs. Helen Baskerville Dukes, with us today.
Yes. Awesome. Yes, that's me. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I'm definitely glad that you were able to stop by and kick it with us. We're live now, so feel free to share to friends and family that will be checking out the show. If you have an issue, let me know. Helen Baskerville Dukes. Finally glad to meet you. I met you like maybe a week and a half ago.
Absolutely.
But
I'm sorry.
I actually thought I met you before just because of your name.
Yeah.
When I heard the name, I said, Helen Baskerville Dukes. I thought I met you in like 6th grade history class because you had that name. You know what I mean?
I'm like, really?
you have that name, like maybe, you invented the first black woman to invent lotion or something like that. Because Helen Baskerville Dukes, it sounds like something special. And it is.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. My whole name is royalty, though. The entire name. Well, I don't know about Dukes. That's my husband's name. But if he's watching, yes. But yes, so my entire name is Helen Elizabeth Baskerville. It's definitely European. Mm-hmm. So the whole name is royalty. I just haven't gotten those,
those checks.
Right, exactly.
She's waiting on them checks.
Right.
Now, do you get that a lot, like different responses just because of your name? Like, there was a comedian, Hannibal Buress, and he said one of the reasons why he felt that he got the attention because of his name, Hannibal Buress. Right.
Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The most common thing is, hey, have you read The Hounds of the Baskervilles?
Right, they do that. You probably heard it 1,000 times.
I just wrote a post. We have a Baskerville Roots page, so I just posted that in there. Funny that we're talking about that, but I'm like, hey, how many times? If I hear this one more time, I'm gonna actually read the book.
Right. And they think they're so funny and clever when they say,
like, hey, have you? And I'm like,
pat themselves on the back.
I'm like, no, gotta do it like this. Be like, oh.
I think you should just finish the sentence. Hey, have you ever? No, I've never read Baskerville.
All right.
Thank you very much.
But you can read the book I have that's coming out.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Right. Let me see if I can share. Is everything good? You guys able to? Everything good?
I think so. I'm on.
I'm talking to you people. Let us know. Leave some comments if you see any issues.
So definitely say hello.
I want to say welcome back to Liani real quick before we get into this.
Thank you.
It's been a very long time.
It has.
Well, it hasn't been that long, but it seems long.
It seems long.
We've seen each other so much regularly. Probably been about a month.
Well, I've been settling back home, so I'm back home to Rhode Island. I'm still unpacking because I've been with a new job, 2 new jobs actually. 2 new jobs.
No longer living in New Hampshire.
No more in New Hampshire. So now Anthony can't crack on me anymore about a Puerto Rican living in New Hampshire.
And you live in where now?
Now I live in Pawtucket.
She's back home.
Yes.
Right. You're not far away.
Nice.
And you've only been away a month. The way he's talking, like it's been months.
It's been a little bit longer than a month.
We used to seeing each other like
every
weekly?
other week,
Yeah.
and we tape a few shows at a time.
So a month is like.
So that's and then Anthony too.
It might have been more than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're live. People are looking. I see you.
Yes, they are.
All right.
I'll put my glasses on.
So Helen, you have a very interesting past and present.
Yeah.
It was all over your website. I was clicking all over, you know what I mean? So if you go into your web analytics, you might see a few hits there.
Oh, and be like, oh, there's 2. Good.
Yes. Let's start from the beginning, I guess.
Okay.
Playwright?
Yes.
Lead us into that. How does that?
Well, it's a long story, but I'm gonna give it to you real short, quick, nutshell.
Okay.
Actually, I wrote a screenplay. That was one of the first things I had written. One day I just woke up and started writing. Literally, I woke up and had said, I don't know how to write a screenplay, but I'm going to write one. I'd gone to the library, researched it, and then I had written it, and it didn't go anywhere. Every time I tried to market it, oh, you need an agent. I try to market it to someone like Universal Studios. Oh, they'll say you need an agent. Agents would say you need experience. And I'm like, well, how can I get experience if you're not going to give it to me? Mm-hmm. So now I don't even have an agent to solicit to Universal Studios. It's just one particular entity that I had pushed my work to. So I shelved it, and just so happened I ended up moving to a new church, and I had allowed this girl from the church to see my script, and she was like, "Oh, you know what? Do you want to do a Black History play?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll write one. Why not?" And it was called "This Life of Sojourner Truth." It was like real short. I'm like, yeah. Then after that, it went over well. She was like, "Well, we should do a bigger one." Her name is Sabrina Veristi, just in case you're on, hon. Right. And that was it. I wrote my first full-length play. It was called Coming Together. And I had done it for the church, as a fundraiser, and then I took it out to church, and that's how I began. Inspired by Grace with the theater side, because I had gotten the name when I was writing my first screenplay. So.
Okay, so Inspired by Grace is the production company
Yes.
under which you produce
Yes.
all of your works?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when was that first play? That was in the...
So The Life of Sojourner Truth was in 2002, but Coming Together was in 2005.
Okay, yeah, got it. So you've been doing this for a very long time.
Yes. Kind of in and out. It's almost like from 2005 to 2007, then 2011 to almost 2014, 2013, then back up in 2016 to 2017. I was supposed to go into 2018, but I didn't.
So, we got some people saying hello. So, hello.
Hey.
Thank you for saying hello. We have Pilar McLeod and Pamela Nelson Burkett.
Yeah. Hey, Mama P.
And who else?
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me make sure everybody's looking. Okay, cool. I see comments. Nice.
So, who inspired? All right, so you just woke up one day and you started writing, but when you were younger, was writing something that you were fascinated with?
Actually, no. I was always in the performing arts scene, and that's at home, where my mother would be like, "Come on, perform," for the family and friends that came over. My sister and I, we would act in the living room and things of that nature. But no, I can only recall being in one play. I was Mrs. Claus, go figure. And that's it. But I've always loved music and things of that nature. We moved to Rhode Island from Florida, even though I was born in Rhode Island. And I just started rapping when rap kind of was on the scene. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to enter that contest." I don't even know where that came from. So, I was a hot rapper. Helen B. I'm married now, so it'd be Helen D. But so just I can't explain it. It just happened.
Yeah.
It's in you, and you don't know until it actually happens.
Right.
So there wasn't a particular thing that just happened.
No.
But you wasn't afraid to try all these things.
No, I'm not afraid to try anything. I'm straight out of the box. Yeah. Oh, I could do that. That's how I feel. When I see something, I'm like, "Oh, I could do that."
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that.
Pretty much usually how it works.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, I thought I could do it, but yeah.
Now, you say you have a lot of history. Are any of those, some of the older things, are they available in some way to be able to see them?
Yeah, well, I have, I believe, 6 of my plays on DVD.
Nice.
And then one of the problems we were having is people who would record our works, either the footage wasn't great, or I didn't get my footage back, or people didn't show up. To record, and especially if we're doing a live performance, if you're not there, then you're not there.
Yeah.
Or people want to charge too much to
but I mean,
record you.
Going back that far, it was expensive. Today is a lot different. Right. You can produce
my own.
Right.
Exactly. But I'm not doing any plays. Well, I have one coming up, but it's one we have done already. And I generally do. There's music to some of my plays. But I took the music out of this one, so it's just going to be straight dialogue, without the music component. So I don't want to record that. And that's that. I don't know.
That's awesome. Now, do you have a certain theme or a certain genre of your plays? Certain approach?
Well, genre, I wouldn't even know. It's just what we see. Something to familiarize people with what I'm writing about would be more in lines with Tyler Perry.
Yep.
So if people wanted to say, okay, well, what kind of plays? It's not like a Lion King or something of that nature.
So real life stories
yeah,
that people can relate
right,
to.
reality based.
Mhm.
A lot of social issues in there as well. You know, just trying to empower. You know, give some remedies to the situations that a lot of us face on a daily basis. You know, and just I guess one of the biggest things is showing you that bad guys are bad guys because of something that it's a learned behavior or something that they were around, but also being able to have people discuss and talk about what their problem is so that they don't have to continue in that problem, you know, with the forgiveness, with loving, definitely loving yourself, you know. So that's kind of what I try to mention or allow people to see from what I do.
I think that's a good thing to see. A lot of times we accept people's behavior just as it is, not recognizing that it's always a root cause,
Right.
which means it can be fixed
Right.
if it's known and help is sought.
Absolutely, no, and that's the thing. You have to recognize that you have a problem, and then you have to do something about it as well. And I believe a lot of our problems is a lot of us need to be nurtured. You know, we're missing that nurtured part. Just as a baby, you know, like you could walk, you could do it, come on. And you're constantly doing it until the baby gets enough confidence to walk. And then, you know, it's just like people, you know, with their issues, rather you go see counseling or you talk to someone who's gone through what you've gone through, that will be able to help guide you through your situation. Like, you know, your emotions are real. It's okay to cry when we talk to men, when we talk to women. Like,
so
exactly. Abuse is not okay. You have to accept yourself. You know what I'm saying? Do you want someone to love you and abuse you, or so-called love you? Well, understand the difference between love and abuse. You know what I'm saying? And all those things.
So the good message that when you have your performances, do you get invited? So you perform, and what's the type of venues that you go to? Do you usually invite in like a university setting, or? Because I know I started performing a few years ago, and I try to stay with anything having to do with social justice, women issues. Like my first play was The Colored Girl. That was Lady Green. And after that, it was Vagina Monologues, having to do with all the different stories of women and that of being a woman. So I remember specifically one at Middlesex College when we performed, we had a panel, and the panel was discussing, you know, here we are 40 years plus later, after the play was written, the choreo poem is what it's called, we're still having these issues.
Right.
Why, looking at the fact that socioeconomic status and all this thing. When you perform or when you are invited, is it because of the theme, or do you reach out to people that can relate to the theme and perform there?
Okay, and when you say perform, as in the venue or as in the actors itself?
So your stories that are real life,
right.
You're talking about how, you know, like the bad guy. Like, so basically it's stories that people can relate to.
Right.
When you perform, the type of venues you perform at, is it do you own your own place? Do you go to university settings?
Right. That's why I was asking whether you were talking about the actors or the venue. Well, I rent venues. I was renting this last go around Bishop McVinney. Before then, we were renting a church. They had performing arts adjacent to their sanctuary, so we would rent that out. I've done it at schools. I've also done it at the Strand in Boston. I've also the Columbus Theater. So it's a lot of places, but I have my own little studio now, so that's where we will be having our play in November called Love and Lies. Yeah. So no one calls me out. I go and search, say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this play. And I don't know. I don't sit and say, what play should I do? If I feel an issue coming on, I sit and I write about it. Or sometimes it's just what I'm inspired. I'm in the shower, and that's where I get most of my inspiration from. I can write a whole play in the shower. So if it comes, I write it, and then I produce it. Sometimes I'm not that lucky, because some plays are just not for right now. Like I did Men Hurt too, but it took almost 8 years to do that play. There are other plays I've written and things that I have in my files that it's just not the time. But they're written, so I'll try it. But, you know, if it's not this time for it, either I can't get enough cast members That's generally one of the biggest issues is the cast.
Yeah.
So, if it's not working out, then I'm like, okay, you know what, just can this one, and then, so yes, I seek out venues on my own because I'm a production company. So, in order to produce what I have, that's what I have to do when I don't have my own place.
Do you rely on grants?
Nope.
So it's all
Yep. Out of pocket, right? Out of pocket. I'm not nonprofit. I'm for profit. I don't see why I shouldn't get paid for doing what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's less about money and more about empowering people. People don't understand a lot of. They might not, because sometimes you have to be in it to understand it.
Right.
Because I was on the outside, I wouldn't go support. There was the black rep, not because I had an issue with the black rep, just because I wasn't into the performing arts. I really wasn't, even though I was a kind of artsy girl. That's I'm like, oh, okay, where did this gift come from? But now that I'm in it, trying to build a business, whereas we can employ and provide those opportunities, and also it's empowerment, and just providing opportunities. There's healing that comes out of it. There's just so many things in what I do that our community can benefit from, or anyone that's a part of the production. Most of the time I give people a script. A lot of them are going through that same scenario their character is. I don't know, especially when someone says, oh, I've been raped, if it's a character that's been raped. Or, yes, I was an alcoholic. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know you. I just met you like last month when I gave you the script. So, there's a lot of things that come out of what I do. And there's a benefit for all, And I guess the monetary side is, I put a lot of money into it. I go into my personal finances. It's hard to get loans. Grant money, especially when you do it on the Christian side. Mm-hmm. The more you go into the religious side, the less money is available for you. And I'm okay with that, because you know what, this is what I'm called to do, and I'm going to keep doing it. And eventually people will see.
I did that. I read that about you. Like, no one was, knocking on doors. No one's giving opportunities. Like, well, then you created your own vehicle.
Right.
So that's in and of itself is inspiration.
Now you said Love and Lies November.
Yes.
Where is that going to be at? You said at your studio.
Yes,
that's
199 Camp Street. No,
oh,
Camp
okay.
and Forest, like right there on the corner. So we're working it out. We should have a sign by then on the building.
Okay.
But a lot of people kind of know where it is on Camp Street in Providence, where I'm at. We had our grand opening in January, so
okay.
It's coming around. It's very small, but it's
Intimate,
quaint. It's
though.
right.
That's right. Yeah. I definitely want to.
And a lot of potential. Yeah, we can grow from there. So we're not putting a lot of money out and not getting enough in, because there were plenty of times we did plays and we were in the red.
Yes.
Where my credit is jacked up. I used to, and this is my first time sharing this openly. I read Tyrone, that's my husband. Hey, babe, just in case you're watching. Tyler Perry about, being broke and all that stuff. There's a lot of money that goes into this one play, $9,000, $12,000. And, when you do it on a larger scale. And of course, I didn't have any, I don't have a traditional education in this. So, I kind of went off of, okay, this sounds good, this feels good, let's move forward. But, going into the personal finance side, in the red, not making enough money. And I'm like, come on, y'all, you guys buy these tickets and things of that nature. And, people don't understand that I'm giving more than I'm getting. You know what I mean?
I do.
But because I love what I do, and I have a love for a community, I have a love for building, and I see the potential, and that's why I talk about the opportunity for people who go to college and you get a degree. Guess what? We want to be able to provide jobs for you, so you don't have to take on 2 jobs just to live, never mind pay back your loan. And we should, and that's from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top. And we can do all that through what I do. And, have our kids see what we're doing. so that they can say, oh, I can do that. I can be that too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we have a lot of stories in our community, and people have to know that, oh, I can tell my story. Yeah, you can write it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what? You didn't do that well in school, but you could do well. And come sit down. Because a lot of the things and techniques I've learned was through trial and error.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Wow.
we're here.
Right. No, that's exciting. I think that's a good message. I mean, that's pretty much how everything works. I think you just do it. Nike's been telling us for years, right?
Right.
We don't really see it as blatant as it is.
Right.
Just get out
Yeah,
there and
it's
start.
scary too. Stepping out is scary, right?
It is, especially with your art,
Right.
right? But Tyler Perry has a story, right? He said when he was doing his plays, he was doing the same thing, struggling, trying to fill the place up. He would, pretty much go broke. But he said one day, out of nowhere, I
Right.
guess this was on one of the Oprah shows. He was saying out of nowhere, he looked outside and the line was around the corner.
Right. I'm waiting on that, but no, I did a play and 5 people showed up and 4 of those people had free tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked and I was like, okay, God, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm about ready to stop. But through that play, so I'm just going to tell this quick testimony about that. Because I said, okay, God, if you want me to do this, I need a sign because I'm about ready to stop.
Mm-hmm.
We're going, again, we've gotten to this place of using our credit again.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to that, I said, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to, pay for this entire thing. I was serious. I was like, God, come on, and I had gone to this church in Virginia, and I was like, before I went to church, I said, God, I need a message. So the original pastor wasn't there. It was one of the youth preachers. And he was like, so, there's this guy, he started telling, a sermon and telling a story in a sermon. I'm like, okay, so what does this have to do with me?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, there was this guy in church. He was great for a missions trip. And, but he didn't see himself doing a missions trip. So by the time, they were getting ready to leave, a few weeks, he was like, okay, fine, I'll do the missions trip, but I don't have any money. So the preacher said to him, well, how about, or the people are part of the mission trip, how about you, get this paper and, you write this letter to your friends and your coworkers and say, I'm going on this mission trip and I need help. And he was like, fine, but the people at my job, they swear like sailors. They're not going to help me, blah, blah, blah. He's like, just do it anyway. So by the end of 2 weeks, he had enough money for 2 people to go. And most of the money came from people at his job. Mm-hmm. So that was a great thing. So I was like, okay, fine. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to write this letter to a whole bunch of people and we'll see. Whatever. I got home. I need an address. So I called my mom up. I said, Mom, I need this person's address and this particular person. She said, for what? I said, oh, because, this is what I need. I need some money, blah, blah, blah. She said, you better not write them. You better call them. And I was like, all right, fine. So I said, hey, yeah, I'm doing a play. Yeah, I'm going to need something. How much do you need? I don't know. It's going to cost about $3,000. But, give me 100, 200, well, whatever. I was straight up open because I'm like, all these other people I'm going to write, so 100 here, 100 there, here, 100. Mm-hmm. She said, okay, well, can I have your bank account number? And I was like, sure, no problem, because she's like, I'm going to do electronics transfer. So I was like, oh, okay, you can have it now. And then, so she called me the next day. She said, check the account in a couple of hours. I said, sure. And she was like, oh, and I've been waiting to give you money. I was like, okay. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be $100. This other person gave me $100. I was like, great. I checked that account. It was 5 G's.
Wow.
So I said, okay. All right, so I guess I'm supposed to be doing this, and that was the play. Only 5 people showed up, so there we were.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm supposed to be doing this, but sometimes it's hard when the people aren't there. You know what I'm saying? Or the money isn't there to do what I do, because we have people that come act with us, and I don't want to take advantage of people. And you're worthy of your work. But if I can't pay you, thanks for doing it for free, right. God bless you, and all those other things that come with it. But I'm appreciative of the help and support I do get. I don't take it for granted. But, it that Tyler Perry thing, I can relate to it now. I didn't have a testimony before, but I do now. So.
Wow, yeah. It is tough because, as comics, right? Liani, you've performed in front of 5 people more than once, right?
Oh, you're a
comedian?
Time Family Fest.
So like, I mean, you definitely know what it is, man. You know, you got to do it. But
And sometimes those are the best shows.
So sometimes the best shows
are the small, intimate shows.
Right.
For sure.
Right. Well,
incredible.
Well, that 5 persons attendance show, that was the best show of that play coming together. Literally, the music, the acting, everything. The people who were there at the theater said, "Wow, this is the best play we've seen here." But I'm like, "Wow, only y'all got to see it 1, 2, 3,"
Right.
and but it was okay. It suit its purpose, you know, because I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. So if no one showed up, I got the money and I got the confirmation. I didn't say, fill it up too. I just needed the money to produce it. But, so here we are.
Right.
Still.
So what's going on now? You got a few things coming up.
Right. So we're working on a web show. Well, 3 web shows right now.
3?
But we're working on the first one right now. We're in rehearsals. I haven't put the name out there yet.
Okay.
So hopefully by the end of October, it'll be out. And then we'll begin working on another one, which is a part of the Latin community. Yes. Hey. But I don't speak a lot of Spanish, so it's like Spanglish, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I can't wait for that one. You're right. So the first web show we're doing is a full 30-minute show, but the one that we're dealing with the Latinos, that's 15 minutes, maybe 20 per episode. So we're working hard.
Okay, so the first one is going to be one show or multiple episodes?
Multiple. It's a web series.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Right. So we'll put out the first episode. The second episode is continuation of the first episode. So we're gonna see how we are with that. Come on, let's get our views up, so we can put out the continuation, because you're gonna want to know what happened.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then as we push it, right? Yes. Oh, I love it.
Oh, okay. You said October.
Right.
Okay. Oh, you're busy.
Very busy. But I love it. I wake up every morning. I think I drive my husband nuts. Because this is what I do. I love it, regardless of the discouragement and some of the frustrations I see. I love it because there is healing, and there's healing through what I do. You know what I'm saying? It's therapy for people. When people call me up or people send me a message and say thank you, and I'm like, for what? And then they tell me, and I'm like, well, praise God. Okay. And as long as I know that it's helping people, I'm going to continue to do it.
Nice.
Because that's what matters.
You see any comments?
So I'm thinking yours looks more in depth, but I'm not sure if that's the comment section. Do you see
it
them?
is.
Oh, I can't see.
Let me see.
But over here, I don't see them.
Okay. Yeah, a few people saying hello.
Hey.
So I see. So what I'm looking at, I'm viewing his laptop, and I see things.
We just got to talk louder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Just talk louder.
Okay.
So that was 2 web series. What's the third one?
The third one is a youth web series, and we're kind of having a hard time casting for that one.
Okay.
So I guess I have to keep pushing it.
What ages are you looking at?
Let's see, 9, 10, 15. We have some adult roles in that youth one. And that's another one I'm excited about, because there are other pieces to it other than just a web show. And I can't say yet.
Okay, cool.
I'm like, there's so much I want to say. I want to tell you the names, but I can't yet until they actually come out. So until then, but I appreciate you asking me about them.
Nice try, she said. Nice try.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's people out there that might have used that would fit.
Right,
So
absolutely. You guys
shout
can,
out to them.
Right. You can go to ibgproductions.com, and there's an audition section where you can fill it out and send it. It'll come right to me, the form. And we do private auditions. We held some auditions. We had a few people come out, not as many as I anticipated, but it's okay. It was enough to keep us going.
Yeah.
But I guess people need to see something at this point with the film side. Like, they know the capabilities of the plays, but
Mhm.
I'm assuming, I don't know what y'all need.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. And you have a show that you were doing, the living room conversations. Um, Tell us about that a little bit.
right.
This is busy lady.
Yeah.
The living room conversations. I know. My sisters say, "Girl, you have ADD." I'm like, "You probably right. I probably was never diagnosed for that. I'm just so busy, but I
Most
love it."
creative people have ADD, so yeah.
Right. It's like you gotta be doing something.
Multitasking is
Right. Between playing Jelly Splash and writing and then producing, like, come on, what else is there to do? And playing my daughter on Fortnite. I almost had a victory, but let me go back to
and
the
you play
living room.
Fortnite too? Don't say that too loud. My kids hear that. They'll be.
I'm working on it. I think I need a controller. I've been doing it on the iPad, and there's a lot more functions that you have to do because I can't build that great. So I think I'm gonna get my own controller. My daughter, we fight over the Xbox. But let me go back to the living room conversations.
She does all this and plays Fortnite.
What?
My kids play Fortnite, and that's all they can do.
I've never heard of it, so I'm sure it's really good.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome. I could sit and watch my daughter play. I had to stop for a couple of days. I'm like, I haven't written anything. But this is a good game because I'm a gamer. My daughter, I kind of raised her on, Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers and that stuff. We would play every night.
Now she's coming out.
Angry Birds, all those things. Yeah, so we'd be like, I'd kick her butt. She might have been 4, but I'm like, hey, you just come on in. You're going to learn strategy today because I'm trying to win. It doesn't matter.
The reality is that everybody
babies,
wins, honey.
right, babies, seniors come at me. I'm trying to win. For real, she'll tell you there was no mercy. So that's how she learned to be as good as she is in particular games. Now she can't beat me in everything. But the living room conversations kind of started with, once a lot of the community, after so many people or guys I've seen die, at the hands of other brothers and stuff, and I'm like, oh, we need to talk. There's just so many issues that are compounded, but I knew we needed to talk about them because this issue with these guys murdering each other, a lot of people don't realize what a lot of that stemmed from because we weren't a people of that. We fought, and that's what we did. We never had access to guns because we didn't have access to money. We didn't have access to drugs because we didn't have access to money. And a lot of that money that we had access to these things that we have now, a lot of it came through the drug age. The heroin, which flipped over to the crack where, it was cheaper to buy the drugs and things of that. That's stuff that has plagued our community. So our kids were raised by a lot of the younger group because my age we were selling, a lot of my age, they've been raised either by their grandparents or rap music. So a lot of our kids have been raised by hip hop, so they feel neglected, not just by their fathers because we've already kind of had the fathers out of the home, a lot of the fathers out of the homes, but now we have the mothers because either they were strung out or in jail as well as the men, through the crack era. So these guys who've been raised by their grandparents or hip hop, they're holding some deep issues, and however they decide to display it. So our kids are listening to music and becoming or doing things that's not common in our community. It might be common in LA because that's what they were doing if you go to Compton or Oakland, whatever it is. But that wasn't common to us. You know what I'm saying? So and I don't care, someone might say, no, come on now. Because we listened to hip hop before it was NAA got a part of this. We weren't killing each other. Not until we had money to buy guns. But why would you want to kill yourself? But you keep hearing stuff like, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to kill you, in this, in that, be this, be that. Guess what? It becomes a part of you. And then especially if you got a lot of hurt inside, and you're not being reared up the right way, you know what I'm saying? You're more apt to commit these crimes, especially when you're hurting. And then you see your friend get murdered, you want to retaliate and all those things. It's like a fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. My boy gets beat up. We coming after you. You know what I'm saying? But now with, the gun side. So through that, and I saw this a long time ago, and I wanted to do something, but I couldn't. It was like literally out of my control. And this was back when I was in my early 20s during the crack era. So I thought about it and like, what can I do? We need to talk. We need to talk why we have so much pain, the abuse. And I figured through these conversations, we can love ourselves again. Not just love ourselves, but talk to one another. I'll talk to you and you'll talk to him. But as a community, I felt like we weren't talking enough about the issues so that we can get through this together and say, oh, I'm not the only one dealing with this. Oh, you are too. Well, can you help me? So what did you do to get out of this? Or like, oh, you're struggling with this too. Oh, I went to this therapist. You know what I'm saying? Because there's healing through that way. And I know because that's how I got through some of the situations I did. I had a mom to talk to, or I had an older sister to talk to, or an aunt or an uncle, people who were going through my situation to help me get through. But if you don't think anyone's going through what you're going through, because no one's talking about it, old people are not teaching the young like they used to either, then what do? You turn to your own devices. And if music is it, and you're hearing all this negative stuff, guess what? It becomes a part of you, Exactly. It's awful.
It's not getting any better because now the music's all about glorifying drug use.
Yes.
Whereas there was a time where, rappers, maybe they sold it or whatever, but they weren't bragging about doing it. Remember, don't get high off your own supply, you know what I'm saying? But now it's all about drugs. So I think from that perspective, it's just going to get worse.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. I've never seen. I can literally look out my window. I live on Camp Street. And I know a couple of guys that I've seen walk down the street. I know it wasn't just liquor that they were on. I knew they weren't just drunk. Because the, you know the actions of an alcoholic. But when you're on pills coupled with that, or maybe some codeine or whatever, you begin to do things that you're like, no, that's not normal and stuff like that. So, we have to get back to on a larger scale. And I don't talk about this a lot in the open or online or whatever, but I would like to, because that's what leadership did. That's what the civil rights movement did. It led the people. Okay, you know what? You need to own your homes now. You know what? Entrepreneurship. You know what? This or that. And then, it trickled down and was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get a house because so-and-so. Martin Luther King said we need to own our own home. So now I'm going to get a home. If we have that top leadership not doing that, then what do? The blind's leading the blind. Kobe, who is running for mayor, he has a fathers group on, I think it's on Saturdays now, which is great because, a lot of guys don't know how to be fathers because a lot of their fathers aren't there. So their babies are repeating the same cycle. So, through the living room conversation, we can have these conversations and begin to somehow come together and begin to deal with the problems at hand so that we can become a better people.
Oh, that's really nice. And you have one scheduled, I thought I saw on the website.
Yeah, it's scheduled in September, but I'm changing the topic. I've been wanting to talk about marriage for a long time. A long time. I've been married for a long time, 20 years. But I've been with my husband for 27 years. Yes. And I had people around me who were married to be able to, tell me the ups and, what to do, the do's and the don'ts and things like that. We could have, a lot of the obstacles we've gone through could have been prevented, and I want to talk about that because I don't want people to think that, being married is easy, you know what I'm saying? Or being married is the end of your life, it's like, Rainy?
That'll be the end of my life.
Right, yeah. I need to chill out. But yeah, we need to talk about those things because people don't understand, and I don't want to say people as a whole, but you understand what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Need to understand what it takes to be in a relationship. What is your role? You know what I'm saying? How to love your partner regardless of they do things that you absolutely hate. You know what I'm saying? That's when you find love is when you're able to tolerate, having that long suffering, the compromising and all those things. There's a different role between a woman. There's a different role between a man. And a lot of times we don't talk about it, so we don't know. Women come in, I'm in control. Sit down. Right. Men are the head. You know what I'm saying? That was tough for me because when I heard that, I was like, oh, heck no. But, I started reading the word. I'm like, oh, that's my role? Oh, okay. Don't need that. And then I found out the responsibilities of a man in the Word of God. I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I'm a woman. No, for real. Serious. I was like, oof. But yeah, I think that's something, you
Mm.
know, we need to talk about in relationships, you know.
Yeah.
And if people begin to understand their role and then value themselves, we wouldn't deal with a lot of dysfunctional things in relationships. And how to teach our babies.
Yeah.
Because if you're not teaching your boys how to be men and how to be in relationships, well, you can't because you don't.
Mhm.
But, you know, guys are going to do what they do. And then, of course,
Right.
TV doesn't
Right.
help. The internet
Nope.
doesn't
No,
help.
not at all.
You
Agree
know,
wholeheartedly
adultery's
on that.
okay. Sleeping with a million women is
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
all those.
Yeah. We're all out here just winging it.
I'm sorry. Y'all know I can talk. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm talking about in relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, I what I found, because I was single in the field again, what I find is that commitment commitment and the natural growth to a relationship didn't exist.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm scared. This is scary. Like people, and,
Right.
you know, and they don't know how to relationship. Like, well, I just want to do this, but I don't want that. And I'm like, well, that's part of a relationship.
Right. You're not in the store. You just don't pick up chips because you're hungry
Right.
and a soda and just leave everything else.
Right.
No. And
So I found that to be very
That is
intriguing. It's
interesting.
actually that's how part of my comedy was goofing on that.
Like when we were young, you at least had some commitment. You want to go out with me? Yes. Okay.
Right.
We had some sort of
Right.
agreement.
Right, and everyone
We're
knew
doing
that
this.
we were
Yeah.
together.
Everyone
Yeah.
knew
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh no, and especially TV, and like I said, I'm gonna go back to the internet. They glorify the negative parts of relationships, so
Yeah.
it's so common for guys. And I'm gonna use guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I see more women now doing stuff that we've never, you know, kind of made common, but they glorify it, so they make it okay. When has it become okay to cheat on your wife? When has it been okay to cheat on your girlfriend? When has it been okay to cheat on your kids? Because that's literally what you're doing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, you have to value who you are. You have to value what you have. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you see that and they're like hopping from bed to bed, person to person to person. And then we women, we want to be loved so bad because that's what we look for. You know, I want to be loved. And, you know, guys, you know, y'all want to be loved. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to let a dude speak about the man's side because I can speak on the woman's side. About relationships and about men. I don't have it all together, and I'm always open, but you know, I have some experience, so I can discuss it a little bit. You know,
I see all of it as like version 2.0 of the Willie Lynch, right? So, I mean, the whole goal is this is all the media doing all of this, right?
Right.
Putting all this out, and the whole goal is to totally remove the male from the family.
Right.
If you want to conquer any community, you just take away the men.
Right.
Those are the warriors, right?
Right.
And our men are gone. We got black women getting beat down in nail salons,
right,
and there's no repercussion
Right.
because no one's coming. The big brother's not coming. The
Right.
husband's not coming.
but because they're already being, and that's what I was going to say earlier, they're already being taught that you don't even need to be with a black woman. If you look on TV, all right, so there's a commercial out right now, and it's about meningococcal disease. You rarely see, and I don't care, I'm just going to say how I feel because I have a child, I have a daughter, and she's black, and I never want her to feel like she's not good enough for a black man if that's who she wants to be with. You know what I'm saying? So in this meningococcal commercial, they have a black girl, you know, eating off of something or drinking off of something and then giving it to a Caucasian kid. And then they have a black girl kissing a Caucasian kid. So I'm saying, okay, so this looks a little negative. So you're saying, to me, it looked as though she's transferring the disease. But then when you look at a lot of the other commercials, you see white women with black eyes all the time. You rarely see the other side. And then when you look at movies, you can see black men with all types of women, rather they're Asian, Spanish, or white, but you rarely see them with black women. So our men see themselves with everyone else but us, you know, and then there's this excuse where I don't want to be with this woman, and nothing against, you know, Spanish women or nothing against any other culture, but don't have other cultures be with their own cultures besides ours. Can you tell me how many TV shows do you really see that's functional, that's black on black? So, and I could talk about that because those things drive me nuts. So when my daughter sees this, what does she see? She doesn't see herself with her own kind. So I don't want her to feel like she's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? Because you are good enough. So we have to be careful, like you said, the Willie Lynch 2.0, what we watch on TV, and be able to sift through the subliminals and understand that it's okay to be with your own, and it's okay to be on the other side, because love is love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It really is. But
we don't have the balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, I kind of, my husband, we chuckle and, we talk about this sometimes, but there's no balance, you know what I'm saying, at all. Now sometimes you see black women with, white guys, but why do they have to be white? Why can't they be Spanish? Or why can't they be Asian? You know what I'm saying? Where's the balance? So then if you see a balance, then you can pick and choose who you want to be with. Don't force it. They're being force fed. That's what they're being, to me. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the family have to be successful if you're with every other kind of woman versus a black woman? Because that's what it seems like. Or am I the only one seeing it this way?
Right. No.
And of course not, because I see what black women write on blogs, so I know I'm not the only one that feel this way. Are we supposed to be going in? Okay.
No, we're supposed to go. Yeah, we supposed
it's
to go.
organic. This is an organic conversation.
Okay. So I like talking, so it was like, hey. A lot of people don't kind of, I don't talk like this on my lives. I want to get there because I want to talk about these things because they're really issues in our community.
Yeah.
And all these things need to be talked about and understood, the attack against us, because it's really an attack.
Yeah. It's deliberate. I mean, it can't be coincidence. When you look at all the music and all the movies, and when you just look at the themes, it's just definitely deliberate.
Right, it's straight up too common.
Which is interesting, because on one hand we carry this sense of inferiority because it's put on us. But when you look at the flip side, if you look at the dominant group, it's a lot of work to convince other people of your dominance.
Right. Right.
That's a lot of work. You have a whole country infrastructure working on your behalf to brainwash people. So
on a regular.
Yeah.
Right. But you're great. So you got to keep telling me you're great. Now I have to come and reinforce to my side, you're great. Look at all these music and genres of dances and all these things that we've been able to produce, and the world has been affected by it. Oh, you're great. Come on, look. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the power of brainwashing, because even though you know and you do these things, if you hear it enough, there's nothing you can really. It's just tough to fight against.
Current administration right now.
Oh, girl, please.
Giving himself all the credit.
Now, so you mentioned administration. That leads me to my next topic. You have political aspirations locally.
Oh. Well, I'm running for ward committee. Yes, ward committee. I knew nothing about this. Not one single thing about a ward committee. Never heard of it. Didn't even know some people in my community were a part of a ward committee. And I was approached. And I said, sure, why not? I kind of do stuff in the community and try to keep us abreast of what's going on anyway. Especially because I live directly across the street from a park that seems to draw so much attention from, from drugs to shooting to dogs in the park, crapping and all that other nonsense that it shouldn't be. I know you might seem small, but when the wind blows uphill and I live there, guess what I'm smelling? All right, and our baby's playing a part. Guess what they're playing around? Okay. So I said, why not? I'm kind of already doing it. So, but the process, and as I had gone through a little piece of the process, I was like, wow, how many of us know about this?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Right. So I was told to go declare my candidacy. So I went down to the Board of Canvassers at the City Hall. Didn't even know it was there. I know, that's so sad. Okay, my first time going in there. So I declared my candidacy. So I'm waiting for my papers to come in the mail. They never show up.
Oh.
So someone else who's running said, I got my papers. I'm like, oh, wait, when? What? So you got yours in the mail? And she was like, the other one was like, no. So she went and looked it up. She had to go down there and get it. So you think when you go down to the Board of Canvassers, they would say, come back, you know what I'm saying, for your nomination papers, because this is what you need to do. Oh, no. So I get down there the last day. Well, no, it doesn't matter. So I get down there, get my papers. So I need 50 signatures for this part, for the ward committee. So I had a few people helping me out, and they were like, get at least 75. because some of the numbers some of the names they might kick off because you have to be a registered voter. But now, to my understanding, if you're a registered voter and your license doesn't match your voter registration or the place where you go to vote, they'll kick you off. I don't know. Maybe it just some things didn't match up. So I only got like 56 of the 70 something signatures I had gotten, but everyone that had signed said that they were registered voters. So I'm not understanding what happened, but that's what someone else had said. So I'm going by what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So now after that, where the nomination papers are signed, so now we'll be on the ballot.
Nice.
Myself and a few other people. So it's 11 people is the max for the ward committee.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So when people go vote on September 12th, my name will be on there.
Nice. People from the ward.
Yes, my ward, absolutely.
Which is
my Ward 3.
Ward
Yes.
3. All right. September 12th. Huh?
Right. And then we can begin meeting and making sure that we, address or check out the interests of the people. You know what I'm saying? So, we present that to our elected officials.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Well, wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited. Rather I would be official or not, I'd still continue to do the same thing because I think it's important that people in the community know what's going on in the community. I don't know it all. I wish I did, but I don't know it all.
If you knew it all, you'd be like, "Why am I here?" I'm bored.
Yes. No, but I just try to do my part, and the more I get into it, the more I'll learn. So I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know much, and I'm like okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm being open. I'm a big kid, so I'm gonna be a sponge at this ripe age of 48. So.
Once you threw it out there, most women won't.
Oh, I'm okay. You listen. I'm
baby.
48.
She's a baby.
April 29th.
I'm
Next
pretty
year, yes, I will be 49. And you hit me up, I will tell you what I want. I like Macy's and H&M, so prefer Macy's, so you can send me a gift card. Okay.
You hear that, people?
All right, but yeah.
All right, wow. This is great. Tell the people that where they can engage with you next, because you got a few things coming up. You mentioned it. Just run them down real quick. Tell me your website.
Right. So, of course, you guys know I'm doing acting workshops, which is so great. I think, I'm dealing with more youth, and I'm okay with that. There are some adults that need some acting lessons as well, so we'll give those out as well. Our first class was half adult, half youth, but the next class we'll have in September, I'm thinking, I haven't put a date on it yet, will be all youth. Let's see.
Because I got a little actor up there.
Yeah, really? Nice.
It'll be good, so I got to definitely stay connected with you.
Right. And just if there's besides my web shows and my play coming up in November, I'm sorry, there's just not enough to put on our website to keep us going, like Scomedy. We're also going to be doing a show called Acting Up, so it's sort of like What's My Line type of thing, and this is for youth, like between the ages of 8 and 14. Give them something to do. It's mad fun. Just trying to provide a safe space and a learning space or a fun space, because I like fun. I'm really the entertainment side. I love to entertain, but we can do it on a positive level, and it's still like 100% fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to be offering that as well as my web shows, the plays, and I have a book coming up. Hopefully by the end of the year.
Really?
Yes.
Is it title?
Yes, it's called Therapy Fix. Actually, it started off on Facebook during my one of the layovers. Actually, I have 2 books that were on Facebook, so that one will be coming out. It's in its final editing stage, so that'll be something else.
Wow.
So you do have your focus in a lot of fires, but ultimately, is there something that you haven't done yet that you're like, I want to do, like a bucket list type of thing?
Comedy.
Yay!
Real deal comedy.
So much fun.
Yeah, but I have to sit and put my stuff down because, like I said, I don't freestyle. I mean, I can. I think, out of the box
Yeah.
I need to be tired so I can be really funny, but
Mhm.
I think I could
It's
take a
fun.
stab at it. I think,
Let me tell you, it's this. So I have a bucket list, and one of them was comedy.
mhm.
But the first thing I did that was scary was skydiving.
No.
I say that performing comedy is the same adrenaline rush because when I jump out, when I do skydive, I've already gone 4 times. I have this euphoria for days. When I perform on stage, it's the same euphoria, but I'm not paying that much money for it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
We had talk. It's so much fun.
Really?
It is. I miss it. It's been a while since I performed, but I can't wait to come back.
Yeah. That's
I don't know
awesome,
how you feel.
though.
Like, I mean,
You gotta let us know. Oh,
but you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. When I remember when I first would get off stage, I timed it. I would have a high for, it lasted about 3 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
But this
just
is
afraid I
early.
might bomb.
It's
You know,
okay to
because
bomb.
you know how
That'll
you
last-
think you're funny,
That'll last 6
but
days.
then you get up there and you get on the mic, you're like, oh shoot.
See, I don't
It's
think
not
I'm
easy,
funny.
yeah.
That's the funny
That was
thing.
mad whack.
I always didn't think. I
Yeah.
never thought I was funny. People like, "Are you funny?" I'm like, I don't think I'm funny. I really don't. But I like seeing people laugh,
Me too.
and I like the conversation and that.
Just make sure you invite us.
Yes, when you do get to go, we got talk.
Well, I don't know where I'm going. I might come with y'all. I might be like, yo, put me down. You know what I'm saying? Put me on the list. Put me on the lineup, you know. I'll be like the clean version of y'all, though.
I can put you up. I'm clean.
I have clean sets and I have not so clean sets.
Okay, I've never seen your set, but I saw his latest
I was
set that he saw. I was like,
potty
wow.
I was in rare form.
Yeah, you straight up. I was like,
It depends on who I'm talking to.
Right.
Right, you have
Right.
to. Right, exactly.
I was
Like,
I was at a 30-year-old birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And
Dirty
friends and
30.
family and brothers and
30.
brothers and
Yeah.
sisters, and he was just.
I was like, oh shoot. I was like, what?
I walk through the audience, and if I see, depends on the audience. If it's a younger crowd, then if it's people like my age and older, like I'll go delve into that. You know, it's a cultural thing too.
Yeah.
So if it's obviously if it's children,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do family stuff,
Right.
right? Because sometimes you go to fundraisers and it's family focused.
Mhm.
So it depends on the
Right.
audience.
So professional. But on my bucket list,
I didn't say you weren't professional. I just said I'll be on the clean side. That's it. You know, I'm just like
Sometimes clean is preferred because then you're like a lot
Yeah.
of people prefer it. I mean, if you're gonna be doing a bar scene,
yeah.
but when it comes to
Opportunity.
certain people sometimes they want clean.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying. So I'm like, what do I talk about? You know. But anyway, I
don't
think
know.
I could work some stuff. I got mad
Christian
stuff.
comedian, it'll be pretty.
And it's not even. I don't even have to be Christian. I mean, that's.
But think about it.
That's the banner I'm under.
But there's
But
not.
It could be
there is
positive.
none. I don't know any Christian comedians.
I do. There was a couple. They were mad funny, like straight up, like we were just dying. But no, I mean, I wouldn't even. You know, of course, you know, that's my lifestyle. But you know, I come off with some positive stuff. But you know, how's this? You won't hear me swear, and you won't hear me talking nasty. Okay, so you know that's it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
clean set.
Yeah, you know, there was this comic from Texas that I had met online through a friend, and he showed me one of her tapes, and she was potty mouth. She was funny. She was potty mouth, going in. And then I had seen another video on her at a church. Totally different.
I think I saw the
Totally
same
clean,
one.
Totally clean. I was like,
No, wait a
yo,
minute.
I was like,
is that the one
That's
from
so
the Apollo? Is it the same girl? Okay.
no,
Yeah.
it wasn't an Apollo show.
Hmm.
But I was just impressed because I was just like, yeah.
She flipped it.
She flipped it.
Yeah.
And she was still edgy, but it was
Mhm.
all church edgy.
Yeah.
She was going in on the church.
Right.
I was like, that's how you do it.
See, I wouldn't even
Yeah.
do the church side. I think all the church people have done the church. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, so
Yeah.
I write comedy, which is more like Saturday Night Live.
Okay, sketch comedy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay,
sketch
okay.
comedy. Yeah, well, I call it comedy. I'm sorry, but that's what we call it. So you know, that's when I do
Mhm.
that. You know, like
Nice.
church stuff. You know, that mad funny. But
Yeah.
to stand up and talk about it, I'm like, they've talked about everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So some of the things I've heard them say, it'll be the same things I talk about. But there's some things that I've seen in my life. I'm like, you know what, we need to talk about that.
Mhm.
But anyway, I don't want to talk about that side
Right.
because that's something I need to sit down
It's
and
fun,
write
though.
about.
It is
Yeah,
fun.
that's
You know.
awesome.
You finally
That's
do it.
awesome. Well, you can use a ghostwriter though. That's on my bucket list to write a book though.
Right. Well, you know what I did? If it might work for you, it might not. I wrote every single night, Monday through.
Nah, it ain't gonna work.
No. Listen. No. But this is when I said I did Facebook. What I did is said, okay, to my Facebook followers, I said every night. This is what my Facebook book starts, Therapy Fix, and Monday through Friday, every day I'll give you about 250 words. And the first book I did like 28, posts before I started posting them, just in case I didn't have enough time. So every day I was posting Monday through Friday, so I got like 100 posts. And then I said, okay, I'm done. I'm getting ready to do another place. I needed to take it off. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's how that got done. Other than that, it would have probably not have gotten done. And then I did the same thing with my other book. So, that's what I did to make it happen. Other than that, like now I have like 3 other books I'm working on. It's easier for me to write when I know that I'm held accountable for what I'm supposed to be doing because I said it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if I'm just in my home, I might write today, maybe next month. Yeah. So.
But you definitely have a lot of drive, and independent drive to be able to do all the stuff you do.
Yeah, that's my mom.
And you love writing.
I love it. I love it. And some of our babies, they have the same gifts and talents, and they have to see it, and see themselves in it, because there's so many stories and so many things that can come of it. Even our community as a whole with writing or telling stories. I mean, we come from that storytelling because that's what Black people did. We told stories. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because that was our way. We weren't writing. We weren't able to read and all those things because if we did, I'm gonna kill you. You weren't supposed to learn or know how to do particular things. But we told stories. I love stories. I could tell them. I just love it. Like I said, it's this definitely here. I love it. Every day. But
we're glad you love it. And we're glad you guys stuck around and chilled with us this evening.
Thank you.
And make sure you follow Helen on Facebook.
I'm going to put your link.
Instagram.
And all that good stuff. Definitely check out her website because you can see a lot of the programs and stuff that you have come up usually pop up over there and stuff like that. Yes, and if you haven't done so already, follow us on the What the Deal Dale, or one word, What the Deal Dale Facebook group, because what we try to do, Liani, myself, and our other co-host Anthony, who is chilling in Vegas, is we try to bring people from our community like Helen and chop it up.
Build up the community.
Yeah. So we appreciate it, guys. Have a good night, ladies. Go make those plates for your man, because that's what.
I didn't say that. You really listen to me.
For our king, provide for our king, because they provide for their king.
No, my husband cooks. I cannot cook. I mean, I can cook a little bit, but no, he throws down. So it's like, if you want that same old chicken with that same old rice, then I'll cook it. So he knew it when he met me. I'm like, I'm not cooking. I made him some pancakes. The pancakes were like dry. He almost like choked to death. I made him some meatballs. They weren't done in the middle. So he knew what he was getting into.